college games or just go with the flow?
This is a pretty mundane week for college football. I mean, the college game day is going to Indiana for Washington, Oregon. But yeah, we're live. I accidentally clicked the live button, so we're live on a restream. And there's Oren. He's excited. I'm pretty excited too about what's going to happen in the NFL this week.
You go ahead.
Yeah, I'm reading some of the injury reports. I've only got 10 games of the 16 up on the website. I've got like the code set up, but like the write-ups for each game, I've only got like 10 up. I'm still up getting people's picks updated on the site. So let's start with the Rams-Vikings game. I'm taking the Rams in the upset. What's surprising is nobody else is taking the Vikings, and the Rams are getting Noteboom back at left tackle. They're getting Cooper Kupp back. They have the home. They got home.
Nobody else is taking the Rams, you're saying?
Nobody else is taking the Rams. I'm the lone wolf taking the Rams this week. Everyone's taking the 5-1 Vikings to rebound in LA. And there's even Matthew Stafford, the Vikings trade rumors surfacing on Twitter, but we both know that's BS, and we both know that's
I don't know. There's so many rumors. It's just incredible. We can spend a whole show doing that, but I just don't get it.
And the trade deadline's on November 5th, which is the day of the election. That's also the first day of the college football playoff. Like the official 12-team playoff by the selection committee, that's going to be November 5th as well. So Super Tuesday in a few weeks is shaping up to be a huge day for both the NFL and college football.
So who are the Rams playing? I'm sorry.
Vikings. It's Vikings at Rams. I like the Rams in this one. And I think the Rams handle business at SoFi Stadium.
I think I have the wrong. Hold on. Wrong.
Looks like Joey Bosa is going to be back for the Chargers. I know that's later, but that is. I'm going to get some notes on that while you pick your winner.
Yeah.
But looking at this situation here, looking at this game.
Okay, sorry.
Looking at the Vikings-Rams, the Vikings are a 3-point favorite over the Rams. I like the Rams 27-21 in a close game. The Rams are getting their left tackle and their number one receiver back.
Yeah,
and everyone else is taking the Vikings.
Yeah, well, I don't see the Vikings losing their touch. The Rams haven't sparkled my eye yet. I like the 27, but I'm going to give that to the Vikings. I'll have 27 to, we'll say 27-17. They win by 10 points. I think the Vikings have everything together this year. I really do, Chris. I really like what I'm seeing from them, both on defense and offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Next
you didn't expect Sam Darnold to be the leader here. I mean, if there's the best thing maybe to move to a different setting for him, because it sure didn't shine with the Jets.
Yeah, the next game is Ravens and Browns, and I mentally memorized that so I can multitask and update some of these games on the site. But Ravens-Browns, the Ravens just look unbeatable right now. The last 5 games, their offense has been in sync. Jordan Hicks probably going to be out at middle linebacker for the Browns again. There's already rumors that Stefanski's going to be fired during the Browns bye week in Week 10. Ken Dorsey, Bills offensive coordinator last year, who got fired, is now taking over. He's calling the plays. I like the Ravens 34-20. I do think the Browns defense is good enough to hold the Ravens under 40 points, unlike the Buccaneers. I don't know if they're good enough to keep the Ravens from scoring. What's crazy is back in May, the Ravens were only favored by 1. That moved to 9.5 last week, and now the Ravens are favored by double digits at -11 over the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, as we know, Ravens now have one of the best running games with Derrick Henry. Just last week, I think he rushed for 169 yards and adding a touchdown. I mean, they're a highly potent team. Browns are not going to slow them down in any way. I actually see kind of a blowout here, Chris. I know you think they have a little bit strong defense here, but the Browns are just missing something. They'll get, if I give him any support here. I don't know what I could do here, but I'm not going to. I mean, it's not like they have much available. Um, and so I'm going to say a blowout here, 38-10, and the 5-2 Ravens going to move to 6-2, and the Browns to move to 1-7 and get one of the front three picks.
Yep. I mean, next game is after this game between the Browns and Ravens. Third game is the Titans and Lions. Titans did trade DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs today. They also traded Ernest Jones to Seattle. A lot of downsizing in Nashville, Tennessee, right before their road trip against the Detroit Lions. I like Detroit in this one. I'm going to go 31-13 Lions. They blow out Tennessee. I mean,
Right.
Calvin Ridley could be out too. There's some Titans have a lot of injuries at corner, and their best player, Jeffrey Simmons, didn't practice today. 31-13 Lions.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the Lions here. 5-1 record. They're probably the best team overall, I'd say, in the NFL right now. I'm not talking about the Queefs because they get help from the refs. So I love the receiver. I'm on Ross St. Brown. 8 receptions in the game last week, 112 yards and a touchdown. He's beyond. I mean, then you got to look at their defense. Brian Branch has 11 passes defensive, 5 games this season. First player since 2011 to record that. Can't go wrong with what they got in the back. Jared Goff, the conductor of all this here. I can see the Lions going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is an easy win for them, like you said. If you want to stick with the score,
I've got the Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl, and I've got the Ravens winning, Oren. That was my preseason prediction. I said the Ravens would beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead in the divisional round too. So, I mean, that's the thing. I'm still sticking with that prediction out of stubbornness, Oren, and it's looking like it's going to pay off unless the refs help the Chiefs three-peat.
For sure, and I just feel that that's this early game. It's just going to be a high flying. I don't even know what Titans are going to do because they're like you said they traded one of their top receivers to the Chiefs, the Queefs. Anyway, why don't we move to the Broncos?
Next game is between the Colts and the Texans in Houston. This was the other lock on Draft Utopia among the early slate of games. I like the Texans in this game. I think the Texans, they're just too talented right now. I think they're going to handle business. And yeah, I think we see the Texans beat the Colts. I know Nico Collins is out. I know Jonathan Taylor's coming back. I know Buckner's coming back. This might be the healthiest the Colts front seven's been all year since week 1. But the Texans are just a better team, and they're not losing 2 in a row.
Right, and if you want to bring a statistic in, Houston has won 5 consecutive AFC divisional games since week 5 of last season. So I do see them winning here when they play the Colts. Yes, they only have 1 game over the Colts right now. The Colts has 4-3, Texans 5-2, but I do see Texans as the better team here with what they have in play. I'm not going to go into too much detail.
I got 27-20 as my score.
Right, and you can't go wrong with what they have in the backfield, Joe Mixon and company. So I just believe if you have him as your fantasy person, he'll probably get about 1 or 2 touchdowns because it will be a running game. You want to go to Falcons and the Bucks?
That's my 8th game on the list. The 5th game I have is Packers-Jaguars in Jacksonville. I'm going to go with the Packers 24-19. I'm going to take the under. The Packers are only favored by 3.5, and both these teams are pretty healthy, Oren. I mean, the Jaguars' only injury is Cam Robinson at left tackle. The Packers' only injury is Musgrave. ETN and Foyesade Olakun, their linebacker that led the NFL in tackles 2 years in a row, both expect to be back for Jacksonville. I think we both took the Packers, but I think this is going to be a closer game than people realize in Duval. I'm going to take the Packers 24-19 in a defensive game.
Well, I mean, Jacksonville's not going to play like they did last week too much. Packers are a better team. So, yes, I do see the Packers winning. Maybe it'll be a closer game than most people think. I would say I'm going to go with 20-16.
Next game is sixth game here. I believe it is the Dolphins and Cardinals in Miami. I took most of our staff has the Cardinals winning this game following their Monday night victory, but Tua Tagovailoa is going to start this game. So I am going to take the Miami Dolphins in a high scoring shootout, 27-23. I think the Dolphins that we saw last year finally show up and they make a statement against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals' 234 right outside linebackers at edge rusher, Dennis Gardick, B.J. Ojolari, are both out for the year with torn ACLs. I think that's going to hinder the Cardinals defensively, having two of their sack artists at defensive end, 34 outside linebacker out for the year. That's going to hinder their ability to pressure the quarterback. I love Miami in this one, 27-23 over the Cardinals. Tell me why I'm wrong, Oren.
No, I think you're absolutely on the right page. I believe that you are. I think that's. I think Miami's just, even though they lost to it's, they still have. I don't think they're going to get a playoff, but I still think they're a good team in all as well.
So you had Arizona initially, but that was contingent on Tua returning, and now that we know he's back, you're picking
talked
Miami.
about that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just so many things are happening. I would like to see them, come back, but in my book, you shouldn't even be playing in the NFL. Just start learning how to coach or something. I wouldn't want to lose my life over that shit.
Jets and Patriots, both of these teams have a laundry list of injuries on the injury report. This is going to be one of my upsets. I'm taking my Patriots 28-27 at home over the Jets. Jets just haven't found their identity with the new interim head coach. And both these teams have a laundry list of injuries on the injury report. We're talking at least 10 to 12 injuries for both teams. So I'm going to take the Patriots 28-27. I'll probably be wrong, especially if Hassan Reddick makes his Jets debut after ending his holdout. But screw it. I'm going to take the Patriots just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I mean, I did take the Jets. I remember I took the Jets, but because
most of our staff took the Patriots last week in London, and that did not work out very well, even though I took the Jaguars. So,
but I'm saying, here the airplanes, I call them, because they ain't flying high this time. They're not going too fast. I don't care if they got Devontae Adams; it's not going to help. So he just. I can go into detail on that. But anyway, I really do feel that they can beat the Patriots and get the first win with, quote unquote, their new receiver. But as far as it will be a very close game, Chris, I don't even think there's going to be more than 3 touchdowns from either team.
The Jets are favored by 6.5, but I'm guessing you're going to pick the Jets to win 21-17, something like that.
Yeah, to that extent. I mean, they're not going to win by a touchdown. It's going to be much closer than that. I would even go with because I just don't feel either team might even score 3 touchdowns.
Yes, so take the Patriots at plus 6.5 if you're listening to Oren and myself and you're gambling.
Because they're not going to score 3 touchdowns. I don't see that happening. Neither quarterback is that. Yes, you have Aaron Rodgers, but he's not young anymore. He doesn't have the same offensive line that he had with Green Bay.
So, Aaron Rodgers had one game where he looked good this year. It was against the Patriots in week 3, but it was a 34-3 home win. I don't know if we see that from him again this year. He's been washed the last few weeks.
Yeah. So anyway, I just see the Jets winning though, but not by much. It's just
Yep.
we'll say 21-17, like you had. That's fine. We'll go with that. That's 5 points.
Buccaneers Falcons. This is the game you wanted to get to, Oren. Everyone else has the Buccaneers winning. I initially did have the Buccaneers winning, but the injuries to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Mike Evans is out till week 12. Godwin's out for the year. Their number 3 receiver, Jalen McMillan's now the number 1. Their number 4 receiver, Trey Palmer, last year's slot, is now the number 2. And Sterling Shepard, who had some good moments early in the season, is now the slot receiver again. If those 3 step up, they can steal this game from Atlanta. I'm just not confident they will. I mean, 2 of their top 3 corners are in concussion protocol. Jamel Dean's on IR, and their nickel Tyke Smith's in concussion protocol. So I'm going to take Atlanta 31-30 because of the injuries. I do think if Tampa Bay was fully healthy like they were heading into week 6, they'd win this game. But with the injuries at receiver and corner, I'm going to take the Falcons by a point, 31-30. I'm not very confident in that, and the fact that the rest of Draft Utopia has the Buccaneers winning at home says something.
Yeah, Atlanta is looking to win their first 3 road games of the season. So we'll see. They have, I think, I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, Bijan Robinson really doing well in rushing this season.
Yeah, you're right.
And,
But nobody's pulled away in the NFC South. It looked like the Saints were going to win it early. This looked like it'd be an exciting division the first month of the season, but everybody's come back down to reality.
Didn't they 3 or 4 in a row or something like that?
And then Seattle beat the Falcons in Atlanta on Sunday. So everybody's sort of fallen back a little bit since the first month of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame. I don't know if the Saints may come back. I mean, they lost their star quarterback, which could send people back too. I mean, Derek Carr did get hit in that game that brought their first loss. So that was out. I feel that Tampa Bay still has a better defense than Atlanta, but Atlanta has a better offense, so it can match up as that. I took Atlanta, correct?
Yes.
The Redbirds, I called them.
Yep.
Yeah, so yes, I do feel that Atlanta.
You said Ducks, but I wasn't sure if that was a homage to the Falcons or the Buccaneers.
Whatever. So we'll go with maybe the Ducks. Maybe I did go the whatever. But
Ducks
right
could be
now,
flying for Falcons or Buccaneers if you think about it. That's the psychology.
Let's go 19-17, 20-17. I'm taking the Falcons here. That's it. That's my decision.
I respect that decision. We're in agreement, and I'm glad I'm not the only one taking the Falcons. The next game is the Eagles and Bengals. The Eagles left tackle Jordan Mailata still has a hamstring injury. The Bengals are pretty much at full health. So I like the Bengals here to beat the Eagles. I think they're going to get pressure on Hurts. They're going to find a way to rattle him. And I'm going to go 20-17 Bengals in a defensive game.
I think I picked the Eagles here. And I do believe their offense will control their defense of the Bengals. I'm going to say it's going to be a kind of like like you said, it's a defensive game. I don't feel that it's going to get too much here, but I'm going to go with 24-20, and they're going to win the Eagles.
Next game is the Bills and Seahawks in Seattle. Everybody on the site took the Bills to win. I mean, the Seahawks, I know they got lucky last week to improve to 4-3, but I'm going to take the Bills 28-21. I actually think Seattle keeps this loss to within 1 score, but Josh Allen's just too much for Seattle, even with that Lumen Field crowd. They're going to need like a pick 6 or something to get that 12th man into the game. That's the only way I think Seattle wins this, is if they get like a pick 6. It's Josh Allen's first interception of the year, and the crowd's able to rattle Allen from that point. That's really the only way I could see Seattle winning. And Allen hasn't thrown a pick yet. He's the only quarterback in the league without interception. So I like the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills will crush them, I believe. Seattle does have. I like what Seattle has this year, but they're a playoff contender, and I feel that the Bills are definitely a championship team in the running here. So I feel that, don't get me wrong, they have Geno Smith can lead a team to the playoffs, but this is not the game they're going to win here. It's going to be a very close game for probably the first halves. Not too much scoring, but I'm going to go with 20-6 Bills. I'm going to have that about a 2-touchdown lead to end the game.
Okay, next game is the Saints and Chargers. Here's another lock on Draft Utopia. I like the Chargers. The Chargers, all their defensive injured, all the players who are injured on defense are back fully practicing. There's not a key player missing a practice. Give me the Chargers 28-17. Saints do have Olave back. They are gonna make this somewhat competitive, I think. But I just think the Chargers are a better team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chargers all around. I feel whoever they play, I have no idea sometimes how they lose games because they play really well. When they want to beat a team, they beat a team. They're active. They have all place, and then it's like all of a sudden they lose. And I just feel that if you're in that, if it's the time you're going to lose, they lose and they look really bad. But if they win and they're all together, they look like one of the top teams in the league. And I hate to tell myself, but this is another 9-8 team that's just going to be like that. So if it comes up to this in this game, you know, they will lose to the Saints.
Next game is the Chiefs Raiders. I'm still typing my notes for this game, updating people on some things like Hopkins being the Chiefs' #1 receiver now. Gardner Minshew's going to start. Desmond Ridder is the backup with Aiden O'Connell's thumb injury, thanks to Cameron Curl. The Raiders.
If Minshue starts, there'll be protests outside for all the Raider fans.
It's in Las Vegas. I think it's going to be a defensive game, though. The over-under is 43.5. I'm going to take the under. I like the Chiefs 23-10 in a defensive game. I mean, Mahomes hasn't shown he can dominate this year. If he did, I'd pick the Chiefs to win 31-38 or even 41-10. We haven't seen the Mahomes of old. If we saw the Mahomes from early in his career or from his MVP season, I'd pick the Chiefs to win 31-38 or 41-10. We haven't seen that Mahomes. He's thrown some picks. Nate Hobbs and Jack Jones are good corners. They can go off. Even with Malcolm Kuntz out for the year, you've got Max Crosby and Tyree Wilson. The Raiders defense can get some turnovers in this game. I think Mahomes has 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Give me the Chiefs 23-10 in a low-scoring game.
Give me the Raiders. No, just kidding. Give me the Chiefs and the refs. The Chiefs and the refs, believe me. 50. Raiders are not an offensive team at all if they play a guarded Minshew. At all. They will not have 1 point. They did not score a touchdown last week against a crappier team than the Chiefs. They're not going to score a point against the Chiefs. It will be at least 38-0.
Adrian Hill, who called the Chiefs-Falcons game in Week 3, is refereeing this contest. And many are going to argue that was the worst officiating from any referee that favored the Chiefs this season. That's going to be the argument for it.
You're going to tell me that none of this is fixed, bro? Nothing. Come on.
And Bill Vinovich, who called the Cowboys 49ers playoff game, is calling the Cowboys 49ers Sunday night game. We're not going to get to that game yet. Everybody at Draft Utopia took the Chiefs. Final 4 games: Bears, Commanders. I like the Bears. I like the Bears. The Bears have everybody at full health. We don't even know if Jaden Daniels is going to play yet. I haven't even pulled up the Commanders injury report because I've only typed 12 games onto the site. I haven't really had time to check injury reports for the late games, but just based on I will check the Commanders' injury report because Oren, even though Caleb Williams has turned things around, I know you're still skeptical on Caleb. And if Jade Daniels practiced, you're picking the Commanders. It's that simple.
Correct. I mean, I just feel the Commanders have rewrote the page here for them.
Jade did not practice due to a rib injury. It sounds like he will be out.
Yeah, if Daniels is not playing, of course you take the Bears hands down. But if he's playing, you just select the Commanders. I think you should take them. They're both rookie quarterbacks. You both have. It's a really nice matchup either way to watch. It's one of the game of the weeks because if they both play, and that will be on at 4:00 on CBS Eastern Time.
Yeah, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz are calling that game. So, I mean, Tracy Porter lives in Chicago, but he's a Commanders fan. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Panthers, Broncos. I'm taking the Panthers. This is my second upset of the week. I have the Patriots beating the Jets. I also have the Panthers beating the Broncos. Bryce Young is starting for the Panthers. Give me the Carolina Panthers to come into Denver and beat Sean Payton. And I'm going to go by a final score of 30-28, Carolina in a shootout.
Well, I have the Panthers way on the bottom of a totem pole. I have no idea how the Raiders, with what they had in that edge, lost that game because that was prior to all this happening. But if I'm taking the Broncos, this is why I'm taking the Broncos this week. They're still in my mid-range. They're on the edge of moving in front of the other than Kansas City in the AFC West. They probably right now, I believe they could get a wild card spot. They stay up on course. Bo Nix, another rookie QB, looks pretty good to me. I in the beginning, I think he was getting the feel, for things. Getting the speed, getting the plays. It's not so easy to come into the league and know all that. Now, once it's fixated on that, he's now approached it with a great thing, and he can accomplish it. And especially looking at teams, that are not as spectacular as him. I think he can overcome that and achieve what he needs to. I'm going with his first blowout, 38-10. Denver Broncos win these Carolina Panthers. And you don't look happy about it. Did you become a Panther fan already?
No, I think the Panthers are going to win with Bryce Young back in the lineup. I think Bryce Young's going to grow up and do what he needs to do to save the season. I've got the Panthers winning their next 3 in a row before losing to. I've got Carolina winning 4 out of 5 before losing to. I still have the Panthers finishing 5-12, but I think it's very interesting right now with Carolina. I mean, I had Carolina at 7-10 back in the preseason, and it's interesting because I could see Carolina. I could see Carolina finishing at 7-10 still. If Bryce Young rallies the troops in these next few games, if Bryce Young plays horrible and he gets benched again for Dalton, I will gladly flip-flop Carolina back to 2-14.
I'm taking a picture of you.
I'm going to pick the Panthers to win their next 3 games. They get Denver on the road, they get the Saints at home, and they get the Giants at home. I've got the Panthers going on a 3-game winning streak. So mark my words, Carolina will win 3 in a row before their bye week. This hot take is probably going to age horribly, but that's the Draft Utopia hot take of the night from yours truly. And Oren thinks that hot take is so bad he's putting an ambulance noise in the background. An ambulance noise. It's lovely. But let's get to the Sunday night game. It is going to be I believe the Steelers-Giants is the Monday night game. The Sunday night game is Cowboys-49ers. We put Brock Purdy on the site this week for the predictions page. Thanks to Oren who voted on that poll as well as some other poll questions. But yeah, I like the Niners. I know Deebo Samuel's did not practice. Kittle didn't practice. Ayuk's out for the year. McCaffrey's not playing till week 10. I know things look very bleak as far as the weapons go, but I think this is going to be a coming out party for Ricky Pearsall, the guy who got shot in week 1. I think this is going to be a coming out party for Pearsall, and I think the 49ers win this game. Micah Parsons is expected to return as well, so if Parsons does return, the Cowboys could steal this one, but they just haven't. San Francisco is the Cowboys' kryptonite under Mike McCarthy, so I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I like the Niners.
I'm not taking the Cowgirls.
I'm going 21-13 Niners. Defensive game.
Yeah. I am going to stay with my 31-10. I'm going with the 49ers here.
Last time these teams met, it was a blowout. And the Monday night game is Giants-Steelers in Pittsburgh. This game could honestly be uglier than the Steelers-Jets game. But I'm going to take the Steelers in a defensive game 17-9. I think the Steelers, they get caught looking ahead, and this is a low-scoring game. Giants do have some key players injured.
You don't think Russell Wilson will pull some strings here?
I think Russell Wilson, maybe he has a 1-touchdown, 2-interception game, but doesn't matter because Daniel Jones has 3 interceptions. I think that's the type of game we're going to get. I think both quarterbacks are going to throw 2 interceptions in this one.
I'm turning off all these lights too. Anyway,
and Joe Buck's going to have regrets about leaving Fox to go to ESPN because the World Series is going to be on Fox. And honestly, I will not be surprised if the Yankees score more runs than the Giants in Game 3 of the World Series in New York on Monday. I hope I'm wrong on that, Oren, because as a Cleveland Guardians fan, I'm not happy, but I knew the Yankees were going to beat
I want a moment of silence for all those MLB fans that love the Dodgers. Or if you're a MLB fan, I'll give you a moment of silence for Fernando Valenzuela, one of the best Mexican pitchers that the Major League Baseball has ever seen. Specifically in the 80s, he played in the World Series for the Dodgers, and it's really unfortunate that he won't be able to see his team, revisit that type of thing with the Yankees. And it was all blasted, last night here. And my thoughts and prayers are with him and his his family. And all the baseball world.
Yeah, so everybody's going to take the Steelers over the Giants. I don't think anybody's bold enough to take the Giants over Pittsburgh in prime time at Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah.
Upset alert, college football game. You have 5-0 Liberty, the only undefeated team that is not ranked, is currently losing to 0-6 Kennesaw State. And if that holds up, that is not just a death blow to Liberty's chances at the college football playoff as a group of 5 team. That is a death blow to Liberty's chances of getting in the top 25 this season, Oren, because they only got one top 25 vote.
Well, let's go to a future Pac-12 matchup. You got UNLV, Boise State. Both only have 1 loss. I love this game anyway, Chris. I know we weren't going to talk too much college.
I think there's going to be a rematch. I think whoever loses this game gets their rematch in the Mountain West Championship. That's my prediction.
This is a very good game, and they're technically Pac-12 future. And I do like both teams, and I like here one of the things. I'm going to take the Broncos here. They're another Bronco, unfortunately.
Their running back looks like he might win the Heisman, Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah. And UNLV's defense is not that strong, even though they only lost 1 game. So I do feel it's going to be I'm going to give you a score here for those folks that like to bet on college. 17-13 I'd say 27-17. Boise State wins.
Yeah, I like that.
You want to talk about the LSU Aggie game? That's
That's a big game. LSU Aggies. To LSU, Texas A&M, both teams have 0 losses in SEC conference play. It's a big game because as long as those two teams keep winning, Georgia cannot secure a top 4 seed in the SEC until one of those two teams loses. Until Texas A&M loses an SEC game, Georgia is playing catch up to both programs in the SEC. I think Texas A&M wins this one. I don't know. I picked LSU to win, but Kyle Field's a tough place to go into. And honestly, this could go either way. This is a tough game to pick, but I'm going to take LSU. They've got 2 of the top 4 offensive tackles in the draft in Will Campbell, who's my number 1 overall player for the 25 draft at left tackle, and they've got Emory Jones at right tackle. I think LSU's offensive tackle tandem is going to be too much. Nick Scorton, the Texas A&M defensive end, does have a first-round grade. So this is a big matchup for LSU, Texas A&M. This is a big matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the next game I'd like to go through is the ACC matchup. And you actually have the Duke, who's more of a basketball team, only lost 1 game the whole year. They're playing host to the SMU Mustangs here, who shouldn't really be in that division, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, both of these, I would never have thought that they would only lose 1 game. SMU is ranked. I don't think if they win, they're going to go up higher, whatever. But
SMU's next 2 games are really tough. They got to play Duke, and then they got to play Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Panthers. They host the Pittsburgh Panthers, who are undefeated next week.
Right.
So that's a really tough game for SMU, but I like the Mustangs in that one. That was not one of the games I broke down on Under the Bleachers. So props to you, Oren, for actually stumping me, because William had 7 games planned for the prediction segment of that show. I found 2 or 3 extra games to bump that up to 9 to 10 games to break down before Brandis came on in the second half. And you actually found a game that we didn't talk about Under the Bleachers. So
yeah, I mean,
I'll give you a round of applause. You earned it.
You got to search this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to sign off, folks. Catch a World Series in 2 days.
And go to CBS Sports Network if you want to watch the end of Liberty Kennesaw State, because I have been watching that game on mute since I did my live stream
last week. All right. Take care.